What's up, folks? Your buddy Fatalroadie. Today we're doing the Smackdown review. We start off with the KO show. Kevin Owens welcomes everybody to the first episode of the Kevin Owens show on SmackDown. He introduces his guest, Daniel Bryan. Owens and Bryan talk about their past. Daniel Bryan wants SmackDown to showcase all the best talent and have a champion that defends their title every week, starting with the Intercontinental title. Owens points out that he's never been a tag champion. Daniel Bryan says, well, you've backstabbed a whole bunch of people. Owens wants to be a tag team partner with Daniel Bryan. Then Team Rudolph comes out. They run their mouth. The Street Profits then come out. And then Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro come out. After a whole bunch of jaw-jacking, we have a big brawl. And guess what, playa? We have a tag team match.
Bruh.
So it's Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and the Street Profits versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and Team Rudolph. Yay. This was the same multi-man bullshit we've seen over and over and over again. This match was nothing but a big time soak. Everyone got their spots in. Montez Ford hits a frog splash onto Cesaro, gets the pin. Alright, whatever. Then, as if we didn't waste enough time, we have Law and Otis, which is now what they're calling the court thing with Otis and The Miz. The APA are presiding with JBL being the judge and Ron Simmons being the bailiff. They really don't do much, and then they say to be continued. Okay, Jesus Christ, can we just get this fucking thing over with? We have a video package of Bianca Belair. This is followed by the next match, Bianca Belair versus Zelina Vega. I will give them a little bit of credit. They did mention that there was a little bit of background between these two over on Raw. This was a good match though. It was mainly a showcase for Bianca Belair. Both wrestlers putting in a hell of a match. Belair looked incredibly impressive. She hit the KOD, got the pin. They really need to push her. She looked really good tonight. In an in-ring interview before our next match, we have Shorty G. He's asked why he wants to face Lars Sullivan. Shorty G says he wants to prove that he belongs on SmackDown because he wasn't drafted to anybody. But if you're already on the show, why are you worrying about being officially drafted? You're already on a fucking show. So we got Shorty G versus Lars Sullivan, and an impressive bit of an upset. Shorty G fucking won it. Holy shit.
What the fuck?
I'm fucking with you. Lars Sullivan beat the shit out of him. He won. Kayla Braxton approaches Shorty G again, asks how does he feel after the match. Shorty G says, I quit, and he leaves. After a commercial and a backstage segment, Adam Pearce approaches Shorty G, asks him to explain what happened. Shorty G says, I quit, being Shorty G. He says it's a joke, and he's going back to being called Chad Gable. They should never have saddled him with that fucking gimmick to begin with. That was fucking ridiculous. Hopefully they do something with him now. Then we got Bayley in the ring. She says she's not scared and Sasha Banks does not deserve a title shot. She says she's not signing the contract and she can burn it for all that she cares. Sasha Banks comes out. She wants Bayley to sign. She says no. Bayley tries to hit Sasha Banks with a steel chair. She avoids it. Both Banks and Bayley start doing a tug-of-war with the belt. Bayley ends up beating a vicious-looking knee. Sasha Banks uses the chair to get Bayley to sign the contract. Banks continues to beat down on Bayley, grabbing the title belt and says that she's going to finish at Hell in a Cell what Bayley started. Then we go back to bullshit court. Morrison says that Otis has left him scarred. Rey Mysterio and Asuka are both on Otis's side. Tucker's on the stand, says that The Miz got everything he deserved. JBL calls for a recess and says he'll have his verdict when he comes back. After the commercial, we continue with the bullshit court. JBL starts to decide for Otis, but The Miz has a surprise bit of evidence that he needs to produce. He pulls out a briefcase, which is handed over to JBL. He opens it. It's hinted that it's money. And then JBL all of a sudden starts to decide for The Miz. So at Hell in a Cell, we're going to have The Miz versus Otis, and the winner will be the owner of the Money in the Bank contract. Jesus fucking Christ, can we get this shit over with? Then we got Seth Rollins versus Buddy Murphy. This was a physical match. It was pretty decent. Seth Rollins was pretty much dominant through the whole opening of the match. Murphy starts to fight back, sending Seth Rollins over the commentary table. Murphy ends up injuring his shoulder during a Meteora. Seth Rollins starts to capitalize on that. He ends it out with hitting a curb stomp and getting the pin. Throughout all of this, Aaliyah is watching backstage. Seth Rollins grabs a kendo stick. Aaliyah urges both Dominic and Ray to go out and help. They say no. So she decides to run out for herself. Rollins starts beating down on Murphy. Aaliyah comes running in to shield him. Dominic comes running out to tell Aaliyah to stop. Rollins attacks Dominic. Rey Mysterio comes running out and he chases off Seth Rollins. Dominic and Ray are asking Aaliyah what is she doing as she goes to aid Murphy. Seriously, they could have just left all of this on Raw. Because we're just doing the same fucking bullshit. Nothing's fucking changed here. In our final segment of the night, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman come out. As Reigns starts to talk on the microphone up on the Titantron, one of the Usos is up in Roman Reigns' dressing room. He says that Reigns lost connection with the family and with himself, reveals himself to be Jimmy Uso, and says that Jay is right behind him. Reigns turns around, gets jumped by Jay Uso, starts to beat him down. Roman Reigns tries to fight back, but ends up eating a super kick and a splash. Jimmy Uso celebrates with Jay Uso up on the ramp. Reigns gets on the microphone and reveals the consequences of the I Quit match. He says if he loses, he's not champion, he's not head of the household, he ain't head of the table, he's not tribal chief, and he can deal with that. But he says if Jay Uso loses, all of his family, Jay, Jimmy, their family, their kids, everybody is out of the family. The cage starts to lower on the ring. Jimmy Uso comes down the ramp, climbs the side of the cage, and both Reigns and Jay stare each other down as we end tonight's SmackDown. Tonight's SmackDown was alright. I mean, there were at least two good matches. The women's match, which is something they really should have done on Raw, instead of having like 50 women in on one shot. Just show one match with two people. Cool. Awesome. That 8-man tag match was just bullshit. It really didn't go anywhere. I don't know why we had the squash match just to get rid of the Shorty G moniker. Alright. And the Seth Rollins and Murphy match, although we have seen all of this story about 1.5 million fucking times, that match was actually decent too. But for a go-home show for SmackDown, it was okay. It was definitely better than Raw. I am still looking forward to seeing Hell in a Cell. They really need to flesh out some more matches, because I think besides the Otis and the Miz match, which I'm pretty sure is going to be on a kickoff show, they only have like 4 matches. So I think they need to flesh out a couple of more. And they were saying I think the runtime is going to be anywhere between 2 to 3 hours long. Please, let's have these short shows. They're good. And that'll do it for this episode of SmackDown Review. Leave a comment down below what you thought of tonight's SmackDown, what you thought about this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe. I've been Fatalroadie. You've been awesome. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, if it's too loud, you're too old. See ya.